That's the core of it. Like if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, it literally, your energy, like it's a tangible thing. It affects everybody around you.
But, being confined like that, your kids, end up getting the short end of the stick. Sometimes it's, and I have the great, great privilege of being able to have that kind of flexibility. And then the podcast, I mean, everybody who listens to the podcast knows I suffer from chronic insomnia.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to the Muslim Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm like, today I had too many recordings.
You're like, what am I doing? It's a Monday. It's a Monday. And you're like, I don't know what day of the week it is. It's okay.
It's the first time that I have two people on at the same time. So we have the crew of Mumming While Muslim that were here on season 1. So I'm so excited and honored to have you guys here for season 2. So how are you doing?
Excellent. Thanks for having us back. This is so exciting.
It is so exciting. And we always love, because we connected on a totally different platform. So the fact that we can still keep in contact and you're on the other side of the world, it's literally such an amazing thing and shows the authenticity of you, Fatima, for, continuing this friendship that we kind of did virtually, and we're still virtual friends. The beauty of COVID on some level.
Yeah, this is the life of COVID. This is the beauty of social media. And when I connect with people, I mean, I keep the connection because I know that we are in the digital, we have our own lives and all of that, but still, again, it's a sign of respect also connected. Then we keep, like, hey, how are you doing? I know that you're alive because I see you online. That's great.
You can't hide from me. I can see that you saw my message.
That is scary.
I know,
when
right?
you think about it, right?
Don't ignore me. I know you saw this message. There's 2 checks.
And you know what? The ability to see that people read your message is an awesome feature.
It is. Oh my God. It's very validating.
Awesome? Or is
very
it like, shoot, like, because with me, because I do have ADD, I forget, like, so I'll read it. And then in my brain, I'm thinking, I'm going to go respond later when I can give a more thoughtful response. And sometimes I totally forget. And then people come back and they're like, oh, I guess you're not interested. I was like, no, that's not what I mean. I just have totally forgotten that I was supposed to respond to you. So
I had 4 different basketball schedules that I had to manage that day.
I mean, it's really a lot of work, right? Yeah. So then you're like, I'm in the middle of here. Oh, yes, I'll do that. But no, so it could be a bad thing too, depending on how you look at it.
Agreed. 100%. Like it keeps you on your toes. Like, don't forget 100%. So ladies, Mumming While Muslim, I want to know, like, give us an update of what is going on, because it's going to be almost less than a year that we talked. And I want to know, like, things are happening. I see you guys like super, online, and you're doing stuff, you're having sponsors, you're featuring other, like Muslim owned, products and all of that. So it's so much fun to see you guys. So like, I don't know who want to start, but let's just do it. Give me an update.
I'll start the update. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hello, I'm Uzma and co-host of Mumming While Muslim. And since we've been on the podcast last, I think we've been to another podcasting conference and presented. I have to remember what we presented on now.
By using your platform to create advocacy, and that's pretty much like the basis of everything that we do at
there has to be some kind of a social good coming out of whatever we're doing. So, and how to use your platform to that end. But of course, at the end of the day, you have to keep the lights on, right? So the work that we do requires now funding. So we're getting that through sponsors and through the affiliate marketplace. And so to that end, we're starting to use new social media tools. Actually, I lie. They're not new. They've been around forever. And we've been dinosaurs in the field because we were like, no, we're not going to do this. No, we can't video ourselves.
It's not for us.
Kicking and screaming.
Literally,
we were dragged into, first of all, social media outside of Facebook. Like, we couldn't do it because yes, we are dinosaurs. My kids have a word for us, but
boomers.
Boomers. Yeah, they're like, "What? You're so boomer." So apparently, only boomers use Facebook.
That.
No, but I was like, we are not the baby boomers. You are dumb. No. Your grandparents are baby boomers.
Exactly.
keep your facts straight. Okay.
Exactly. Keep your generation straight. So, we had to like come out of our Facebook zone and learn all this stuff. So yes, we have gone into Reels and are now using it as a social media tool in order to, promote the products that are actually paying to keep the lights on, which is really awesome. We are quickly approaching our 3rd anniversary. Alhamdulillah. So we are, thank goodness, we are almost 150 episodes now, consistently been on for, every week, once a week. We're on 2 platforms now, I think, since we last talked to you. So we're not only on podcasts, we are also on Fireside, where we do a whole different show. And now with this new year, we are moving part of our original Mommy Well Muslim podcast to Fireside, a political segment that, it actually generates a lot of cultural conversation, which is really nice. And the platform is like Facebook Live met Clubhouse. So it's really great because the audience can interact. They can get up on stage. They can get on video. We can do a lot more with it, which is really a lot of fun. We've, in order, again, to keep the lights on, we've created a membership program. So people have access to the Fireside app. They have access to our new lifestyle series content where we're talking about, wellness journeys, specific things that you can do, because obviously on a podcast, you have a lot of influence. And so what we say matters. And so if I'm telling you how to lose weight, there's going to be somebody out there who's going to take it very literally. No, I want to target that to people who are really interested and get all the tools and the more one-on-one advice on how to do that. So you can get that on Patreon, and Zaiba offers the parenting stuff there, which is really important. The positive parenting, specific things on, how to work on sleep schedule, which is every mother's like worst nightmare, especially in the beginning, that those first 2 years suck. Potty training, all that good stuff is going to be on the lifestyle series. I think she created a beautiful free journal for our patrons. So that's on there because it's so much, it's so integral to wellness. And now with the new year, after the surge is over, we are starting our first live events. So we're taking the podcast on a tour. Yeah.
My gosh, this is awesome.
So much happening right now.
We could okay, crazy question before, like Zaiba, you jump in, like, did you intend to make a business out of the podcast when you started? Or was it
I don't think
organic?
I did. I don't think I did, but Zaiba did from the get-go. So she knows.
Because my thing was more, I don't even call it a business. I'm calling it, I've chosen to brand it as a movement, right? So that was always what we wanted to do. One, we wanted to create this concept of motherhood as this journey. It's a job. It's a full-time job in addition to all the other hats we have to wear. And, we talked a little bit about the whole concept of imposter syndrome and all of that, before we started recording. And I feel like, unfortunately, moms have that the most, but they have the most to offer because we have so many, like we have to juggle so much. We have to do so much. And those things are not necessarily valued in a traditional capitalist community or society. But the reality is they're literally the building blocks for everything else. And so to empower mothers in our little part of the world, and Muslim American mothers specifically, because we're the other, as we're raising that next generation of American Muslims in our case, and perhaps for people that are listening in the European markets, you're raising that next generation of European Muslims, however that is, and to embrace and empower you to do that by providing you, resources, providing you information from the mouth of mothers who are professionals in their own way, in their own world.
This is so beautiful. And I know, like, our mission aligned where I do coaching, when I decided to niche down to only coaching Muslim women, was the same thing. If you want to change, a community, a society, you got to start with the women, because they're like truly the pillar of that community. So I coach, like moms and non-moms, but you give us like, so what it's so needed, right? Like, because motherhood doesn't come with a journal saying, like, this is the guide, this is how you do it. You can buy books on like how to educate and all of that. It's all over the place, right? But what you have your experience, you're educated yourself, like you pushed really and gathered all that knowledge, and now you can make it as a process, as a guide, as a journal, whatever, and like to help moms and have a great start, right? So that's so amazing. So I just love it. And now that you can see that there are so many holes that you can fill in, and there are so many things that we can do, right? And when it comes with the right intention, with a good, heart, and really with the intention of helping people, it's crazy. Like the impact is like immediate. Right. Yeah. So
and how much like the doors open for you that you don't even know you were supposed to walk through, and then you walk through it, and you're like, oh, I was supposed to be here the whole time. And I didn't even know I was supposed to be here the whole time. So to answer, that was my long-winded way of saying, we didn't think about it to be a business. We definitely wanted it to be a movement, but in order to create that sustainable change and that transformational change that we feel that we can offer people, we had to make it into, we had to create a business model that could help us do that.
Okay, Usma, you're still so you're having your day job and you're doing that as an addition, or are you full-time on it, or like how is it?
So here's the fun thing, like as a mom, you're already so seasoned on working a full-time job, which is your children.
Yes.
So everything else that you do is like kind of
extra.
It's just extra, right?
Yeah.
So my medical practice is extra.
That's like on top of everything. And this woman's a doctor.
They're like, how do you have time to do all this? And I'm like, I don't. I make time because I want to do this. You make time for the things that are important to you. It is important to me to use the skills that I have, especially in this pandemic time. It's so critical, right? Yeah. So I always tell people at work when they're asking me like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I run away from home to be a grown-up and to hang out with grown-ups. That's why I get to come to work. It's such a privilege for me. It's like extracurricular for me. And I have always worked part-time since I had the children, with the goal of one day going full-time into a medical building practice office situation. But, being confined like that, your kids, end up getting the short end of the stick. Sometimes it's, and I have the great privilege of being able to have that kind of flexibility. And then the podcast, everybody who listens to the podcast knows I suffer from chronic insomnia. So it's okay. Like I am totally happy
to stay up until 2. It's not okay.
It's not okay. You gotta work on it.
3 in the morning. I know. I'm working on it.
Why are you texting me at 3 o'clock in the morning? And she's like, I haven't gone to bed
and I was
yet.
I was like, crap. I answered her back. Now she knows I'm awake.
I was so mad. I'm like,
go run to bed.
Because we're trying to work on her sleep issues for 3 things. I'm like, Usma, stop.
Just to remind everybody also, these 2 ladies have 4 beautiful children each, if I remember well. Right?
Yes, you do remember correctly.
So this is a like crazy amount of work, and they're having like these multiple sites. It's such an inspiration. Like this is the goal for me, so I love that you're saying it's completely feasible, and then it's all about building the process. And this is what I teach is like, no, you can have it, but you got to build the process, and you do it, a piece at a time. Same that like raising your children. So, but it's completely feasible, and I love that you're doing it and you're crushing it. And there are so many things new. So, what do you guys have then? Exciting happening for Momming While Muslim. You have the podcast, and then you said you have multiple things out of it. So, if you want to share that with people.
I think we should talk about Hawa Multimedia, because that was something else that we and Hawa Multimedia is essentially a podcast collective for we wanted it to be specifically for a Muslim podcast, but now we've kind of changed and adjusted it a little bit to be women of color, because part of our thing is we do not have representation in the like there's so many white men that have the mic, actually take the mic because they feel that it's owned for owed
Yes.
to them. And at Hawa Multimedia, our hopes is through a collaborative effort, because that's what we do at Momming While Muslim. We want to help empower and engage people, that we're promoting you, and we're working together collectively to get your message, your individual message across. And part of that came from, and Uzma, I'll let her tell the story, but it was just one of those things where, we were like, is this the next step for us as because people were coming to us, and probably you too, Fatima, like, how do you do this? What's the tech like? What do you do? How do you promote yourself? What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. And we were just like, you know what? We can really do this for other people. And in doing this for other women specifically, we can elevate their voices in the small way that we can, and work together as we're supposed to work together to do that. But I will let Uzma talk about, like, she literally called me one day crying, and it was like a vision for her. And we're big believers in God's plan. And this is a Muslim entrepreneurial podcast. So I'm a very much go with the flow person. Uzma's a little bit not, so I'm kind of trying to help her with that.
It's a great combination. You're
like,
great at it together.
And now we're very much like, okay, if there's a sign, if there's a thing, if the universe is trying to tell you something in a consistent way, instead of being like, oh, we can't do this, or we're just like, okay, let's do this. Maybe it's not going to be on this grandiose scale that we imagined, but we're putting our foot in, and to your point that you said earlier, Fatima, when you have good intentions and your heart and your soul is really like about helping somebody else, you'd be surprised by how easily that path opens up for you.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usma, go ahead. Tell us the story.
Yeah, that's how it is. Like, when Allah gives us signs, like, we just cry. So that's what happened to me. And sometimes he's showing you consistent signs, and sometimes he's just slapping you in the face and saying, hey, pay attention, So that's kind of what happened. Like, we're constantly getting more education and continuing education in the podcasting process, because we want to know what's going on in the industry, what's coming up next, because even though we won't do social media, this is something that at least myself, I'm interested in. So it was at this conference that, I was realizing what is coming, and that is that big industry, America, and I'm so proud of Zaiba for calling out the capitalist industry. Oh, I love you. I'm so proud. Like, us being together has made a difference.
But I'm still very much a capitalist, just so she knows. So
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not. So I was like, there's all these huge names that are buying up individual voices in the podcasting industry. So when they do that, you have to make a lot of creative compromises sometimes, and sometimes give up ownership of your content. And as females who, historically, our gender doesn't have a lot of ownership in things. That's something that's changing, and it comes with privilege based on where you're born. And that's a lottery, right? That's nasib. So for us, it was like, we don't ever want to lose our independence. We don't ever want to lose our ownership of what we've worked so hard to build and envision and continue to work toward. We won't want to sell out, but if that's the only way to stay sustainable, because podcasting is an industry that the failure rate is really high. And I say failure, with the caveat that it's not really failure. If you don't have support, the proper support, and you have like 1,000 barriers in front of you because you're not a white man who was born and raised in the West, then there's like a lot of, hurdles that you have to jump versus him. So if we can remove some of those hurdles, even the playing field, and keep somebody podcasting, her voice stays out there. And so for me, it was literally like, I'm sitting and it came to me like Hawa, and the name was Hawa. And it's like, it's Eve. It's, Eve theory is very near and dear to my heart. I've talked about it multiple times. It's a major biological theory about our first mother. And how, that's how 23andMe works, right? It can trace only your maternal DNA. And the belief in Eve theory is that if we went back far enough, we could find first mother just based on the cells we inherited from our mothers. And we are able to identify that in a lab. So Hawa obviously made sense for women, by women, about women. And then Hawa in some languages is also air. So if one rises, everybody rises, right? Everybody takes in a breath together, exhales together, rises together was the idea. So bringing together these podcasting women who, again, are doing the full-time work of raising their children a lot of times if they are mothers, but you're always doing something full-time and then everything else is a passion project. Let us put our energy into your passion project together, take some of the burden off of you, and together help each other do the work by pooling our collective talents and keep us podcasting for posterity. And that is how a collective.
I mean, exactly. Inshallah. And this is crazy. I just love that you see how I enjoy, just listening to the process of like taking an idea and making it a project and then it grows by itself. When you have the good intention, when you have the desire also to learn. So I just recorded a podcast episode with my first male guest, because I wanted to have like more success strategies and all of that, like business oriented. And we were talking about this. We were talking about if you are involved in the digital scene, and like in any form or shape, you got to keep learning. It's changing so fast that this is something that you got to embed in your mindset. I'm just going to keep learning. There are new things popping left, right, new social media platforms, all of that. You got to keep yourself updated, and it takes a lot of work. And I love that you're giving the support as saying, okay, listen, you can keep your voice and we can help you, like grow and give you like the environment, the tools and all of that, because it's so needed. And as you said, yes, in the podcasting, a lot of people stop, there are not many podcasts that are, like having multiple episodes or multiple exactly. So there, and it's so easy to just tell your truth, like speak your side, like give your expertise and just be you on podcasting. And it's really powerful. So I just love that. Congratulations. So anything else, so the collective, is this something that is in project or is it launched? Like how does it look like?
We actually launched it, I want to say officially December, because we have now, what is it, 5 podcasts that are part of the collective?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're inviting you, Fatima, to join us.
Yes, absolutely. It's not just video, like, obviously we do both video and audio. So whatever medium you have, there's a place for you. And so, wait, I lost the question. What was it? When did we launch? Yes, exactly. December officially, but no, we are in the works. We're contracted. We're out. We're already, we started the cross marketing, because the whole point is how do you, discoverability is a real thing, because a lot of people are doing amazing things. And one of the things we do on the podcast is show people, look, there's this woman right under your nose who's doing these amazing things. Go sign up with her, so discoverability is also a big thing for podcast media. Different podcast shows. So, hey, let's promote each other. And, that of course helps with the algorithm. It also decreases your workload, but it keeps it, going in a circuitous and continuous way. And that's what we want to be able to do.
Awesome. We'll share all the links 100%, and you're live. And I'm honored, of course, like anything to empower other Muslim women, any skills that I have that can be helpful, that I'm always in. So this is just great, So
you've heard it here first, everybody. You've heard it here first.
Accountability. I recorded another episode this morning, and we're talking about accountability using social media for fasting, because I'm like, I want to go back to fasting on Mondays and Thursdays. I've been doing like juice fast, intermittent fasting, but then like I kept procrastinating on Mondays and Thursdays. It was so hard, and I was like, let me put it on Instagram and say, listen, I'm fasting.
This is Thursday. What I'm doing.
Who wants it? Okay, so it helps, like accountability, the power of accountability. We know that as coaches. So.
Having groups together, like it always helps. 100%.
It works. It's like a big energy wave. So now that we talked about momming while Muslim, let's see like what is happening individually, to both of us, like any exciting project, any things that skills that you are developing that you see yourself that I just love always. So like, let us know. I don't know who wants to start.
I want Zaiba to start. I think everybody
she's so funny.
Zaiba has a huge project. Like we saw projects her as a student. Projects. Yes.
Well, I'm a chronic entrepreneur. Like I call myself a mompreneur, and the reason why I feel like, and this is great for you, for your guests or your people to hear, like on some level, when your mind, body, and soul is aligned, right, you go to work and it doesn't feel like work. And I feel like in entrepreneurship, like that's the best way. I mean, you can't have it all like it's balanced. It's never balanced. So I want people to know that, because when you feel like, oh, I can have an amazing spotless house and an amazing business and be there, you know, at every single kid game. Guess what? Something gets lost in translation always. So you need to know that. I don't want to create this false sense of, you know, what it actually is. But what entrepreneurship actually does for you is it allows you to balance and focus your time to the things that you want for that moment. And for me as a mompreneur, everyone's like, why do you do that? I'm like, yeah, I call myself a mompreneur because being a mother is always the center of every single thing that I do. So if something takes me away from my core, which is to be the mother, to be what I call the CEO of my family, then that ultimately means that I'm not in aligned with what my particular values are. It's so funny. Like while we were talking right now, my son texted me, he's starting to drink coffee. He's 18 now. And he said, Mama, next time you make me coffee, can you record it for me so I can take it with me to college? And as I'm sitting there, I'm a little bit
making
sad.
coffee.
He wants me to record it how I make it.
So
that
Yeah, it's really cute. Wow.
Exactly. And so even like he wants me to make like all the things that like the 6 dishes he likes, he wants me to record it so this way he can have it. And part of me loves it, right, as a mom, because I'm like, wow, he wants to be independent. But part of me is also sad because I'm like, oh my God, then he won't need me anymore. Right. But being an entrepreneur allowed me the opportunity to have those types of relationships with my kids. And to that extent, I will never ever, like, even if that means I'm waking up at 4:30 every morning, and I do, and but it means that I can come home at 3, be there for kid duty, go to every basketball game, go to every baseball game. And to Uzma's point, like I'm not staying up all night, but then I do when my younger 2 are in bed, I'll do a little bit of work before I wake up again in the morning. It allows me the opportunity to do that. And I'm a big believer in signs. So when something comes up, if I feel like I can do it, I'm like, let's do it. And it's about, to your point, creating systems, time blocking. There are lots of tangible tools that we can do to create the illusion that we can do it all, right? Because it is an illusion. Because behind the scenes, I have a husband who thankfully is now working from home that can help me a little bit. I have to pay somebody to come babysit sometimes. You know, there are so many people behind the scenes that are helping to facilitate that. So I want those people, they're the unsung heroes that we don't necessarily, we want to put on Facebook, oh, we're doing this and this, but guess what? It took 20 people to kind of help me get to this point. So I want to say that. But for me, my newest endeavor is Emerge Consulting Solutions, and we're pretty much this one-stop coaching. I'm at a stage where I am no longer coaching because I've kind of done it for so long. I love it, but it did take a lot. For some coaches, it takes a lot out of you emotionally. And I recognize that. And I recognize that I liked the business portion of it. So I've, found and partnered and am collaborating with these amazing women that do such great work. And that I would rather give it to them, let them do it, because again, I know what my bandwidth is. I know what my emotion, like I'm putting my own emotional health as a priority. So we do everything from health and wellness, inspired wellness, to ADHD, to, parenting. I'm still, my specialty is mindful, conscious parenting, from like a positive, intelligence perspective and appreciative increase perspective. And I still do that. And I'll do that for groups, because I love working with groups of people. So I am more doing that, or I speak on panels about parenting. Uzma and I were just on the Zen Parenting conference. I'm speaking at a couple of other parenting panels, because really for me, it's if your home life isn't balanced, it really affects everything else that you do, everything else. And that starts with the mental and physical health of the mother. And that's pretty much what in doing and going through that journey myself, by the way. So this is not do as I say, not as I do. This is saying I had to go through that journey to get here to tell you, you need to do this.
Yeah, I just love it. So Emerge Consulting Company. Well, I just checked out the Instagram because it was or I don't know, like someone sent it to me, or maybe it was you on Instagram. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing! Like a group of women, like coaches, and the topics that you guys talk about is so wide. So I think you can like reach many people. And I love that you have the awareness of like, I'm much more in tune with the business side. Let me, do my thing. And anybody, this is how you build a business, when you know your strengths and your weaknesses.
Exactly.
And as you said, mental, emotional health. Let me focus on what I thrive to do, because I have so many things to do already that if I have to force myself and all of that stuff, I definitely hear it. You're a coach for a long time. So energy, all of that, balance, the drill, and it's all about making it a practice and just, making the best out of it, for you. So
exactly. And that's the only way that it trickles down to everybody else. That's the core of it. Like if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, it literally, your energy, like it's a tangible thing. It affects everybody around you. And I was a banshee like 4 to 5 years ago till I started on this journey. And then Momming While Muslim was a main part of it because I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow. And then of course you have a partner that's just amazing, right? So like all these things aligned because I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And granted, I'm in my 40s. I love it. And I tell Ism all the time, like when everyone's like, why are you starting something else? Aren't you? Guess what? The prophet became a prophet in his 40s. A lot of these major people started taking over the world in their 40s. Age is a number. So come back to us when we're 50 and you'll see what we're doing. We're going to be nannying while
even
Muslim
better,
still
even
we're going
better
to
stuff.
even better. Yeah.
I don't doubt that at all. Like, this is crazy. I mean, the more, project, the better you feel, the more resources comes in and the opportunity come. Like, it's crazy how you can accomplish. And of course, like people use age, or we tend to limit ourselves so much, like limit our potential. We do it to ourselves. And so I love that you're showing that it's possible. You can do a lot of stuff. And I wish my mom could speak English so she can, learn from you, because I keep telling her, she's like, your health is so key. You need to be like mentally, emotionally, physically well, so we can be well. And she's like, I need to sacrifice myself. This is like this type of
the martyr syndrome.
There's no trophies for martyrdom.
For sure. Yeah. It's the martyr syndrome, which they're like, if I'm not suffering, then I don't deserve the happiness. I mean, it's definitely that generation. And we really, as a community, as a society, need to dispel it. Like you do not 100%. Have to cut off your arm. Apparently my son is not going to school, so I need to back him up. So I will let Uzma continue.
No problem. Go ahead, Uzma. It's your turn. Like, what's exciting? Tell me.
Oh, what's exciting going on? I mean, it's just developing developing the additional content that we do for our members over at Patreon, making sure that we stay consistent now on 2 different shows, and creating more collaborations. I think that's the most exciting thing that I'm getting into now. I think now that we've been in the space for 3 years, we're getting a little bit more legitimacy. We're getting a little bit more recognition, not just from brands, but from actual other accounts. And so they're reaching out more, establishing those relationships, and sometimes you have to be diplomatic because, supposing you don't want to establish a relationship, sometimes that happens, but you don't burn any bridges because you never know when you're going to need somebody. My mom's always like, you don't know who's going to have to wash you when you're dead. So you be nice to everybody.
Yeah. Be nice to everybody.
Be nice to everybody. Cause I don't know who's going to give me a whistle. Right. So it's like, be nice to everyone. Maybe not now, but let's see what we can do in the interim. Maybe not on the podcast, but let's see what we can do on the interim. Like, how can we elevate your voice? What can we do? So, still working people in, expanding our reach, growing our networks. I mean, getting the engagement up to over 101%. That has been huge for us. A lot of that has happened just, learning how to use the tools, watching YouTube videos from other creators. Like, this is how you do this. It's like, oh, okay, I can do that. I probably won't buy a DSLR camera, but at least
that's the next step. I don't have a DSLR, but that's the next step. I think if you want to but again, like this is something extra, really, when you want to, you have the means and all of that, and you want to make it more prettier and all of that.
Yeah.
It's like, you invest on it. Otherwise you don't really need it. Your phone does like most of the job. I just, shoot outside and everything just with my phone. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Just getting our podcast set up for the rest of the year. Cause again, when it comes to processes and time blocking for us, it works well if everything's just scheduled out and on paper, in writing, in the emails, in the invites, like, hey, we're all done for the next 6 months. Now we can relax and enjoy ourselves. And it does become critically important for us, because Ramadan is around the corner. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're able to continue doing, again, like Zaiba said, making sure that everything at home and inside of us is like settled so that we can give back. And that's really big for us. So
lots of preparation, and I know that you're into that a lot, and good for you.
Workflow is very important to us.
It comes easier for you. I think I'm more like Zaiba.
It doesn't. It doesn't come easy for me. So thank God I have an Uzma. She's like, did you not read the notes? I'm like, where are the notes? She goes, we're going live
every morning.
In like
where
10
the notes?
Morning. And I'm like, I have no idea.
Oh, Lord of mercy. You mean you didn't read this?
Then it stresses her out. And I'm like,
fine.
Don't worry about it.
This is your challenge, Osma. This is like
okay. That's why I get to edit later and be like, okay,
exactly.
She's
like, oh my God, she drives me nuts.
I love it. And Usma is going crazy with the reels on Instagram. So I want to know, like, okay, why you decided to get on the reels, and how was the experience for you? Like, going from zero to what you're doing right now. It's just like so hilarious, and I just love it.
Yeah. The initial ones were so sad, right? Because I did not know how to do them, and I was doing them all wrong. And I'm like, how do you fix this text? What the hell, And then Zaiba was taking a course, I think, in preparation for Emerge, as she was preparing all of that marketing and stuff. And so she's sending me text upon text about, okay, we have to do reels, we can't do posts, and this is what you have to do, and this is what you have to use, and you can't have stills. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, if Zaiba's saying it now, I really got to learn it. This is like in business classes. So I started, taking the tutorials and figuring it out. And I was like, I am going to get this. Like, no matter if it kills me, I'm going to get it. And it didn't take that long. It really probably took one night of like watching videos and learning how to do it, and then just trying. And there is so much imposter syndrome doing it, because then you're like, oh, watching the numbers. Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And then it's like, who am I talking to? This is me. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm good enough. I could do this. Yeah. And sometimes there's a little bit of resentment. Like, okay, I know this is important information. It's not frivolous like this other stuff. Like, oh, I pulled the rug out from under my brother, and now look how hilarious. Ha ha ha. I'm like, no, this is actually like good stuff that you need to learn anyway. But it's a matter of trying to figure out like what the trends are. I think that would be the hardest part. Yeah. And so keeping abreast of that on a weekly basis, like what's going on, what do we do? And then is what's trending in alignment with our values, or in alignment what we're doing this month? Because, every month we have a series too. So it's like, we really want to promote what we're doing on the series. And February is our most popular. It's always our most highly downloaded month, because we talk about love, sex, marriage, everything that, the Muslim community in particular. Yeah. Vibrators.
Thank you for talking about it.
Yeah. We'll be talking a lot about clitorises this weekend, or maybe the plural is clitori. I never learned that. But
like February is crazy.
February
really is 18 plus type of
podcast. And we do tell people, we're like,
it's explicit content sometimes.
Let's not
be careful, kiddos. Yeah, but our sons listen, so. Oh, well.
And just to add on to this, because she's like the guru where this is concerned. If you're just starting with the reels and you're like, I don't even know what content to share or what to do, the other places on TikTok or Instagram that you follow what they're doing. It's
just do what they do. Copy it.
Just do what they do, but create your own content, and you'd be surprised by how fast that goes. Literally, Uzma has me recording things where I'm pointing to like nothing,
the air,
and it ends up.
I'm like, just step by a wall and point. And she's like,
just
can you translate this in English? What is it you're asking me to do?
And what do you want me to do?
I don't know what this means.
And she's like, Italian hands. I'm like, I don't know what Italian hands mean.
Yeah.
Because I don't,
come on. You're part white. You don't know what an Italian hand is?
I was like, I don't know. I had to learn that through TikTok.
This is crazy. I just love it. And you're doing it remote. So it's not like,
we're remote.
This is crazy. I have a good friend. She's in California and she's like, oh, Fatima, I wish you were with me because if you were here with me, we would do crazy stuff. And I know like
we would probably do super funny things.
Oh my god.
You could still do so much. You could stitch it on TikTok and do it. TikTok is another thing that we're learning how to do. Awesome. It's just a lot slower. And it's supposed to be really easy. So we're going to try to experiment stuff on TikTok. And then if it doesn't do well or, change it up and put it on Reels and see what's happening. So it's all about trial and error, right? That's what life is. You got to try it.
It especially social media. It's all about, the learning curve. So you got to start. If you want to, you're not going to get it right away. So you got to start and then improve. And all of the old videos are proof that you just improved. Yeah. And you're like, look at now, like we're lip syncing at the right time.
And I look at some creators and I'm just like, wow, like you got dressed in that one outfit and busted out like 18 different types of videos.
Yes.
Just on that one outfit. Cause to us, it's like, ew, wearing clothes and putting on makeup. It's so hard. It seems so overwhelmingly hard. And it's like, oh, I could do that one time and like make a bunch of different content and be done. And it's like, that is brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah. Brilliant. Yesterday I shot, I think 8 reels at the same time. Because like you don't have the time every day to have a different outfit. Like I'm not doing it full time. So like
exactly.
Please give me a break. You change your hijab if you want to give.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And or your t-shirt. I just love it. And it really a statement of, again, don't limit yourself. Don't say I'm too old. I'm a mom. I don't know what
I can't.
I guess there's like I can't or no. Just get tutorials, and it's so easy. Like the information is not missing. It's just you, the commitment and the willingness again to learn and to put yourself out there. Which did you find it like difficult? Just both of you, like putting yourself out there and saying, like, listen, my love children will see that
because I have teenagers that literally call me cringy.
They make fun of her. Yeah.
They come on Momming While Muslim and like, oh my God, what the heck are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. But you know what? You just kind of have to be like, on some level, as much as they're making fun of you, they have to on some level, like respect the fact. And they do. Wow, she's putting herself out there. She's doing something different. She's doing something unique. And, in their own way, they respect you. But it is hard because I have those older kids and they're like, but their friends follow the page. They think it's hilarious. They love the podcast. And they're not even Muslim kids. And they just, awesome. They just think it's hilarious. They're like, oh my God, Mrs. Han, you're doing X and Y and Z. This is fun. So
they're going to love this month's episodes. Woo.
Well, I told them not to listen, which means they're going to only
They're going to listen then.
They're going to listen.
Good job. Reverse psychology. Good job.
Yeah. It's like, don't listen. This content is not for you. Really?
Yeah. My 13-year-old thinks it's really cool, like that we're doing but he's upset because he's like, how come you get to do TikTok and I don't get to do TikTok? I'm like, you can't be on social media until you're 15. Sorry. Yeah. That's just the rule. He sneaks onto my phone and watches and he's like, oh my gosh, you're doing TikTok. You have a TikTok account now at Momming While Muslim. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of testing it out and seeing what's going on, like how to do this. And he's like, well, these aren't really even funny, but it's kind of cool. Can I do my TikTok now? I'm like, no.
No, he tried.
Yeah, he tried.
It's like there's so it's good that you put the boundaries. Like, it's not because I'm doing it that you're you can do it at a certain age.
I'm not saying no.
That is you're doing it at 15 and it's good for their own well-being because it gets like lots of bad consequences if you're like too young and like they you never leave the phone. Because it's just infinite, it's just infinite. So it's for their own health. And I love that, they respect that. This is again, like a statement to your own education.
Yes.
I want to follow. I'm so inspired, ladies. I just love what you do. It's crazy. And I know that where I'm going to get my education once the moment, like it's time. But I know.
You're going to be so much smarter as a mom than I was.
I have my guides, but it's normal because you learned trial and error, and this is amazing that you're taking the knowledge, your experience, and sharing it with people. Say, listen, I've made errors that you don't have to make. And this is what I've learned. And this is the beauty of it. Like, the wisdom sharing and, like hearing from your elders. I was having a conversation about that. Like, we have so many elders that we don't get their wisdom because we don't have these conversations with them. And it's such a shame for us. So I just love it. So time for some PR, and we ending the conversation. I would love to keep you but we're all busy, and I don't like forever, and we're chatty, so it's like so guys, let us know where can they find you, what is exciting coming up, what do you want to promote. This is your PR time. Go ahead.
Awesome. Zaiba, do you want to go first?
You can always find us on Momming While Muslim. I'll let Uzma take that, but you can find us at Emerge Consulting Solutions. And, just if anything, you can, like, I'm not posting all the TikToks. My team is, because I actually do not have social media on my phone. And it drives Uzma nuts. She goes, just go into our reels. I'm like, Uzma, I don't have Instagram.
Like, approve the draft. Just approve the draft. And she's like,
and just because of that, it's a mental health thing for me. I have to go on the computer and I have to do that, because then it's like, it's a conscientious effort and it's part of my time blocking. So I don't have it on the phone, but Emerge Consulting Solutions. However, we mostly deal with the states, but if you have any parenting things that you want to call, contact us with, feel free to DM us at Momming While Muslim, and Uzma always forwards those to me. So thank God she checks it. And she forwards all that stuff to me, and then I respond.
Yeah, awesome. We're at Momming While Muslim podcast on Instagram, Momming While Muslim on Facebook. We're on Twitter, YouTube. A lot of people watch our videos on YouTube. And of course, if you go to mommingwhilemuslim.com, that's our website. If you don't know how to listen to a podcast, just go to mommingwhilemuslim.com. The landing page has a listen button, listen to it. There should be a pop-up right now for our live events that are coming up in February in Texas. And then in March, we'll be in California. And then inshallah, we'll restart it in the summer with our podcast tour, because of course, we're going to take a break for Ramadan and Eid.
Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Oh, so exciting. I just love it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Like amazing work that you're putting out. It's such a great inspiration just for me and for the listeners. And of course, we're going to share everything in the show notes, and they can go and have a look for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was so great to be on.